What's going on, YouTube and Rumble? Today is June 8th, 2026. It's been a hot minute, y'all. Not a financial advisor. Do your own research, form your own opinions, blah, blah, blah. These are merely mine. Got a lot of things to get into today. First of all, let's talk about silver, gold, other. Even copper. Copper's doing well. Still, if you buy copper bullion at copper bullion prices, that's a bad way to go. Unless you get a deal. Gold and silver. Some of you may be crying the blues. Silver's at like what, 65-ish, I think. I looked about 2 hours ago. Gold's in the 42 hundo range. Still pretty impressive. Good store of value. Think of where gold was 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, and where silver was a year ago. You're still doing okay. Not a financial advisor, I'll say it again, but buy more if you can. Buy it, hold it, love it. This mallet here is not gold or silver. Don't know what it is. Found it one day and took it home. Been treating myself pretty well, actually, lately. Been busy. I was going to do a video a few days back. I'm a little late. I apologize. Life gets in the way. I've been doing a lot. I've changed my diet. I've gotten back to my roots. Got back to just pretty much meat and vegetables for the most part. A little bit of potato, a little bit of rice, not much. I'm feeling pretty good. Bought a, I've been really digging tenderized meat. Bought a meat tenderizer, and it's a little bit bigger of a mallet than this. A little bit. And some tenderizing needles. And boy howdy, do they work good. Alright, now, I love boomers. I really do. In a lot of ways. Older people have wisdom. They have taught a lot of us work ethic, proper religious views to a point. Investing, politics, and I have a huge problem with the boomers. A few weeks ago, I believe it was May 19th, Kentucky showed us just how stupid they are in the 4th District, I think it was. They let Ed win the seat. And they told Massey, hey man, after all the hard work you did, all the conservative voting you did 91% of the time, and making wise decisions the other 9% of the time, you're out, baby. Because this is what we've been told to do. This is what APAC money told us to do. And we're boomers. And again, I run into a lot of boomers that are like, hey, this shit ain't working. We get along fine. It's the ones that are so confident in their beliefs, that are so misguided and refuse to change, that I cannot fucking stand. And I'm old. Okay? I'm old. They come from a time where government lied less. They come from a time where doctors lied a whole lot less. Case in point, in the 50s, you were told smoking cigarettes were good for you. They believed that. They didn't say that out of maliciousness. Sure, the tobacco companies were funding a lot of them, but they didn't understand. They didn't have the long-term track record to understand just how bad it is for us. And I don't give a shit if you smoke. I smoked 2 packs a day for 23 years. That's your right. What I care about is being informed. and realizing when you're being misinformed, having the sack, the wherewithal, the mental fortitude to say, wait a minute here. And Kentucky District number 4, I believe it was number 4, y'all really failed. Y'all really sold us down the river. And I'm disappointed in you. Each and every one of you that made the wrong decision and voted for an iCountry cheerleader. I'm not even sure if I can say that name. Doesn't mean I hate the people of the country. I hate their government, like most governments. And I hate what our government is doing to support their government and not our people. Y'all sicken me that fell for that. You know, if you're sitting there on your couch watching Fox News and OAN, which I like better than Fox, and Newsmax, and just soaking up all of what the government tells you to soak up, you are an idiot. It's time to wake up and be better. Buy some silver. Buy some gold. Buy some platinum. Tasty drink. Saw something on Friday. Today is now Monday, I guess. I haven't been to bed yet, so it's technically Monday, I guess. It's not tomorrow until I go to bed and wake up, but whatever. It's Monday. On Friday, had lunch with my boss. He fired me, just kidding. I had lunch with my boss, and afterward he says, I want some candy. I said, all right, bro, walk your ass over to the Dollar Tree. He goes, I ain't going. You want to go? Here's some money. I said, yeah, all right, I'll get you some candy. And I go in there, and I get myself some sugar-free candy. Had a hankering, like I said, changed my diet, feel better. And two people in front of me, there's this guy and his old lady. They're both toothless wonders. They're tweakers. The mannerisms, and they were just dirty, and they had a cart full of shit. And I knew how they were going to pay, at least in my mind. And I was correct. So she goes outside. He's in line 2 people ahead of me, and I can smell. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not trying to even be funny. I could smell the piss on this man. It smelled like he'd been wearing the same pants for 2 weeks and pissing in them multiple times a day. It had that rank, nasty, old, vile smell of urine. And I'm all for freedom of choice, as long as you're not hurting people. But there's a certain level of respect when you go out in public. If you smell that offensive, listen, cigarettes stink. If you're a smoker, I don't care. I'll deal with that. But if you don't have hygiene to any reasonable degree, you're an asshole. He was disgusting. Anyway, he gets up there to pay and pulls out his Oregon Trail EBT card, food stamps, for those of you who don't know, which is exactly what I thought he was going to pay with. Ding, 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 I was right. And all the candy and sugary drinks and cookies in their cart, and that right there is a double-edged sword, because you say, oh, they got to eat healthier. Well, we pay for them to live longer. If they don't eat healthier, we pay for them to go to the doctor more. Either way, we lose as the taxpayer when it comes to the scumbags. It's just a fact. So I guess that's neither here nor there. Anyway, after all the candy's rung up, and there's one cashier working, and he's being proficient, doing his job, his EBT card that you and I paid for to fund all of his food is $7 short. All right. No surprise there. So what happens next? That, to some degree, was a surprise. To some degree. And it made my fucking blood boil. This man, for lack of a better term, reaches in his pocket full of piss and pulls out, y'all, I'm not even kidding, somewhere between 6 and 7 maybe 10 $100 bills, folded up all crisp, and some ones and fives. The guy had to have at least $700 to $1,100 on him. Pays for his food after holding up the line for 5 minutes and smelling like death the whole time. Pays for his food, tweaks around, falls off track and goes over here, goes over there instead of grabbing his shit and getting out of the way. For those of us who bought his food. And there's something fundamentally wrong with that picture. Of course, the cashier looked at me like, phew. I looked at him, I said, yeah, isn't it nice that we're both at work right now, paying for shit like that, and getting the line held up? Isn't the system wonderful? He got it. He knew. He was thinking it. He was trying to be professional, didn't say it. I had an older woman come into work the other day, and we were talking about the price of things, making conversation during the transaction, and she goes, "You been to the grocery store lately?" I said, "Oh yeah, it's terrible. It really is." And I said, "You know where else I've been?" She goes, "Where's that?" I said, "The gas station." And she goes, "Oh, you know whose fault that is, don't you?" And I figured I knew what she wanted me to say. She wanted me to say it was Donald Trump's fault. And I'm a realist. And then she goes, "Who do you blame?" I said, "I blame all of them." I said, "I blame the idiot before him who had inflated prices and fuel with his policies. And I blame this idiot for coming back in and instead of doing what he did the first term, where he had a real chance to lower prices, he made it even worse." I said, "I blame them all." And she goes, See, it doesn't register, it doesn't resonate, right? People have to pick a side in their mind. They have to be loyal to somebody. And that's when we get to the boomer mentality, yet again. And boomer mentality is not just limited to boomers, y'all. It's limited to cult members alike. If you can't think for yourself, if you can't take emotion out of how you invest, which I talk about a lot, if you can't take emotion out of how you act in your daily life, if you can't take emotion out of how you vote, not only are you doing yourself a disservice, you're doing others a disservice, because when you make the wrong decision based on emotion without the benefit of intellect and logic, you take everybody else with you. She didn't like that response of, "I blame all of them," and I do. And that's my right. That's my ability to see. The government is no friend of ours on either side. It's just not. And you get a guy like Massey, thinks we should be able to drink raw milk, which, if you understand anything about nutrition, you understand is far more healthy than pasteurized and homogenized bullshit. And he's the bad guy. He believes government should be out of our lives. He's the bad guy. Why? Because AIPAC told you so. Because Fox News told you so. Because they got paid to tell you so. So you're going to sell everybody else out and be a fucking retard. Awesome. Speaking of that word, Michigan Brian from Facebook. Didn't like it when I used that word. Not even directed to him, really. I was going to make a whole video about him and make him internet YouTube known. I'm not going to do that now. I do believe he's an extreme leftist. He seems very emotional, so we are very fundamentally different on those two things. He did, however, say some things that I agree with. Not many, but a couple. So Brian, Michigan Beta, keep on keeping on, brother. Wish you the best. We're what? 12 and a half, 13 minutes into the video. I meant to bring you up earlier, but it's not that important to me anymore. If you could take a minute to like, subscribe. If you're on Rumble, hit the follow button, hit the like button. Comment. Hell, share it. It's time to think. It's time to disconnect from government for the most part. It's time to go about our day. Control the controllables, what we can control. I can't make people see what they don't want to see emotionally. I can't make people logically see what's in front of them. I can't change anything. In fact, I had a fucking phenomenal conversation with a friend. I'll call him a friend. Never met him. A friend. We interact a lot. We had a great phone call. He called me up. I actually answered. Sometimes I don't. I apologize. He shall remain unnamed because I didn't tell him I was going to talk about him. But we are now finally pretty much 100% on the same page with just things in general. And he says to me, he goes, I can't change anything. I can't get people to see anything. He goes, fuck it. I'm going to concentrate on my cash stack, my metal stack, and my own shit. 100%, brother. We are in full agreement. And that's where we're at. So, keep stacking.